Tell me how, I got nothing to say. Tell me why my tombstone is blank. 'Cause I'm not the one who won't try. I'm not letting life pass me by. And tell me when the days are less gray. And tell me where is the road to less pain. How many days before I decay? It's getting so hard to get by. Where are all my trophies in life? And he hated the way he was dying, but the moment he turned on the light, he became what he dreamt of at night when he was young and hungry for life. Set to sail to a place I can't say. Live a life worthy of chase. The time is today. New blood in my veins. I won't be the joker in life, playing the part I don't like. And he hated the way he was dying, but the moment he turned on the light, he became what he dreamt of at night when he was young and hungry for life. And he hated the way he was dying, but the moment he turned on the light, he became what he dreamt of at night when he was young and hungry for life. Yeah. And he hated the way he was dying, but the moment he turned on the light, he became what he dreamt of at night when he was young and hungry for life. 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 Young and hungry for life.
6 days, ladies and gentlemen, 6 days. And the fine gentlemen of Alter Bridge have a new album out. That's the right way to start the new year, man, let me tell you. SmackDown! They started the new year off the only way they needed to. Hot! We got returns full time. We got NXT call-ups. We got a great go-home segment between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. We got fire on the show twice. And we got a great main event with Damian Priest, Aleister Black, the 6th ever ambulance match. I know a lot of people were upset. A lot of people were scared about the 3-hour format. Nobody asked for it. Nobody wanted it. But was the 3-hour format to start the new year a flop? The answer is no. SmackDown was great tonight and started the year in a great way for 3 hours. Thank you guys very much for joining me tonight. It's the first stream of the new year. That means we got to celebrate with an ice-cold beverage. I'm going to the venue, and when I walk through those doors on this Friday night, for the first time this year, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your Friday Night SmackDown post show, and I got the TNT transition still live. But you know what? Fuck it. It's still great. Thank you guys very much for joining me on this Friday evening. Wherever you may be, it's the first stream of the new year, Friday, January 2nd, 2026. I hope you guys had a great new year. Hope you guys enjoyed yourself on Wednesday evening. It's nice to get back to business. It's nice to get back to business. It's nice to sit in the chair. It's nice to talk pro wrestling. It's nice that the holidays are behind us and we can get back to work. Very much looking forward to that. Hopefully you guys had a great new year. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the kind words. Thank you for being here for what I promise will be the best year ever, and I will damn sure make it that way. We got a lot of dreams. We got a lot of aspirations. We got a lot of hope. So let's carry that on into 2026. Yes, it's Friday Night Titans. Yes, Friday Night Titans. If Tuesday Night Titans could be every week, man, there'd be no stopping us. Honestly. You know, the one thing that WWE needed to do this year, the one thing that WWE needed to do tonight was start off right. It needed to start the year off right. They could not go and do what they did last year, which was safe, predictable booking. They could not let SmackDown ride into the new year the same way that it ended 2025. With a 3-hour format, which supposedly is temporary up until at least June or July. Last time we got a 3-hour SmackDown was last year, and that rode all the way through 4th of July. Everybody celebrated when they went back to 2 hours because the show was just so terrible that nobody really wanted to see an extra hour added on top of what was a terrible 2 hours. The writing was terrible, the talent. It was not substantial enough to ride a 3-hour show. It wasn't even substantial enough to give us a 2-hour show. A lot of people were afraid, a lot of people were weary about what WWE had planned for a 3-hour SmackDown after what we've been given through the majority of 2025. I already see some people say, oh, well, this is the turnaround that WWE needed. First of all, it's not a turnaround. You guys are very hopeful. I am a long-living pessimist. I don't look at anything in the optimistic lens. I'm always a glass half empty type of guy. This is not the change that WWE is all of a sudden now going to embark on, and it doesn't signal a change for Friday Night SmackDown at 3 hours. It's a step in the right direction. They basically needed to do what they needed to do tonight, but it doesn't signal a full-fledged change. I'm going to need more than one show. I'm going to need to see at least 6 or 7 shows consistently. I'm going to need to see at least a couple of months of Friday Night SmackDown. Multiple hours of Friday Night SmackDown under the microscope lens, and then I will be the one to deem this ready for production. I will be the one ready to say, hey, I think Friday Night SmackDown has turned the corner. Tonight was that great start. Tonight was step one. Step one in a multi-step program. Like WWE is going to fucking Alcoholics Anonymous. You're not going to be automatically cured, and you just can't walk into the fucking building and sit in the chair and sit amongst all the fucking alcoholics that have a same commonality with you, and then all of a sudden you're fucking cured. No. They got up, they sat in the chair, and they got their ass into the fucking meeting when they didn't want to get to the meeting. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what they did tonight. And SmackDown, to me, for 3 hours tonight was a very, very good show. It was a very good show. They need to go young. The youth movement in WWE needs to be a focus. A lot of aging talents in the company. CM Punk, AJ Styles, Sheamus, Rey Mysterio, so on and so forth, that are at the top of the card. WWE needs to go and really focus on their young superstars. They need to go and start building around the future. That's exactly what they are in the process of doing. I hope so. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. We see Dominic Mysterio on Monday night. We see Braun Breaker on Monday night. We see Bronson Reed, Austin Theory on Monday night. Obviously, you saw tonight Jordynne Grace. I wouldn't necessarily call her a part of the youth movement, but a much-needed asset in the women's division, which is basically empty. Trick Williams, Javon Evans, Oba, Femi. It's exactly what they start or need to start doing, and what they started tonight on Friday night. We also got the return of Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona is back full-time in the WWE. This was a long time coming and quite the gift for Matt Cardona in 2026 after spending 5 years away from WWE, busting his fucking balls on the independent circuit, making sure that everybody knew who he was, has finally returned home to WWE. And when I saw him in the John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament, I said exactly what I'm going to say to you now. WWE would be foolish to not give that man a full-time contract and put him on Friday night and let him run with that show. That show could be his. And I'm glad to see WWE brought him back away from the Zack Ryder gimmick. Trick Williams made his presence known, not only getting into it with Sami Zayn, but he got into it with Rey Fenix, who's another one that needs to be pushed in 2026. Jordynne Grace, she got into it with Chelsea Green. She got into it with Jade Cargill. Jordynne Grace seemingly is on the radar for the WWE main roster. We saw another Obafemi vignette. We don't know where he's going to land, but I'm assuming it's going to be on Friday night. That's where I think he fits best. Then on Monday night, like I said, we got Braun Breaker, we got Bronson Reed, we got Javon Evans, more than likely going to end up over there. Austin Theory. One of the biggest problems in WWE was focusing on the past and not really forging a new future. It looks like WWE is hopefully in the process of doing that. And we'll talk about all those names that I mentioned that showed up tonight, and I'll give you guys my opinion on what I feel they will be doing going into 2026. Carmelo Hayes defended the United States Championship against Johnny Gargano in what was a great wrestling exhibition, because we won't use banger anymore because the shills over at Sports Illustrated really made it uncool to use that term. Carmelo Hayes is the United States champion, and that championship is in good hands with Carmelo Hayes. It was in good hands with Ilya Dragunov. It was in good hands with Sami Zayn. But it's nice to see, after what those two guys did, that the United States championship is still being defended the way that it was with both of them. Drew McIntyre. He laid the foundation for what will be 3 stages of hell next week in Berlin, Germany, against Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. And after tonight, if Drew McIntyre doesn't win the WWE Championship, I will be very, very disappointed. After what he did tonight, I would be very, very disappointed. WWE could certainly use a shot in the arm. WWE could certainly use some change at the top. They could certainly use some unpredictability. They could certainly throw a wrench into the system and fuck the gears up for just a little bit. I know they don't really like that because they love playing on Sesame Street. Triple H is a big fan of Elmo, I heard. Big Bird may be on the creative team for all I fucking know. Now, we don't need to do that. We need to burn the fucking nest down to the ground. We need to kick Oscar the Grouch's can over and piss on it. Drew McIntyre should win the WWE Championship. I don't know if he will. This is WWE we're talking about. I would suspect Jacob Fatu returns next week and fucks things up. But the segment that they did tonight between those two to send us home going into next week was a fantastic segment. It really showed you how great of a heel Drew McIntyre really could be. And it shows you when Cody Rhodes is pushed to the limit, that when things get fucking nasty, Cody Rhodes is certainly going to go to war. Cody Rhodes is going to have a lot of people coming after him, whether it's Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu, or Randy Orton, who returned. Randy Orton returned to Friday Night SmackDown tonight. He didn't really do much of anything outside of 2 segments, which were the first 2 segments of the show. He came back and wasted 17 minutes with the fucking Miz, and then he made his intentions known. Whoever wins against Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes, he will be coming after the winner for the WWE Championship. And he made Cody aware that if he wins, even though they're friends, that's out the window. Randy Orton is coming after the WWE Championship. So if you look at the 3 hours that WWE gave us tonight, Randy Orton returned, Matt Cardona returned full-time, Trick Williams debuted. Not really a debut, he debuted last week, but he was in an in-ring segment, so basically it was his in-ring promo debut. Jordynne Grace, and we got an Obafemi vignette, again hyping his arrival on the main roster. And we're not done yet. Joe Hendry more than likely is on Friday night. And then Jacob Fatu is set to return imminently. Just with those names, only one female. WWE has set Friday Night SmackDown up to be vastly different as it was in 2025. Now they need to start adding females to that division because that is still the weakest point of the show, as is the tag team division. But they're in the right direction. They're going in the right direction. The talent that they got back, the talent that they brought back, the talent that they called up, I have absolutely no problem with, and they alone could give SmackDown a different feel on Friday nights. Damian Priest and Aleister Black, 6th ever ambulance match on Friday Night SmackDown. Main event, I thought they did a very, very good job. I've seen some people complaining that Damian Priest won this ambulance match and theoretically ended the feud, which I hope that's the case. Both guys need to move on to something different. Aleister Black won 2 of their matches so far. Damian Priest only won 1 match. He got the last laugh in the ambulance match. So they ended up a 2-2 tie. I don't really understand why people were throwing the word buried around when Aleister Black got the ambulance doors slammed in his face tonight. They'll be fine. Both of them needed to move on to something different. What that something different is, I don't know. But I'm just glad that it's over. And we'll talk about everything else in between. Julia won the United States Championship tonight for a second time. I don't know what good that's going to do. Maybe WWE realized that they fucked up and they want to try again with Julia and the United States Championship. But the thing is, Julia won the United States Championship from Chelsea Green, and the division around her is the same as it was when she exited 2025. Unless Jordynne Grace is going to be that female that challenges Julia for the United States Championship, being that they got somewhat of a history or a little bit of a history in NXT. Again, more work needs to be done. I'm just not seeing how sound of a decision that was to give Julia the United States Championship. A lot more needs to be done there. Giving her the title is only the beginning. You can't expect her to do anything different if you, the creative, haven't done anything different for Julia. We're going to talk about this show tonight. I thought this was a very, very good episode of Friday Night SmackDown. I want to thank you guys for joining us here on Friday night. This is your Friday Night SmackDown review for January 2nd, 2026. Thank you guys very much, man. Hopefully you guys had a great new year. We got a lot of things we got to accomplish this year, man. We got a lot of things I want to accomplish. I want to get as much content out there to you guys as possible, whether it's through what we've been doing, which I genuinely feel is better than anybody. We're the best at what we do. There's nobody in our lane. Maybe 1 or 2 guys. But there's nobody that could sit in this chair in front of this microphone and do what I do better than everybody else in the community, man. You can't touch what we do here. Love it. Short form content. I don't know whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. We're going to get more short form content out there. We're going to get more graphics work done. Deviate's going to get some work done this year. We've been sitting with the same assets all year, which is fine because they look incredible. I want to add some different elements to the streams. I want to add some different scenes to the streams. So look forward to that. You guys know the ultimate goal. Serious, Busted Open Radio. I don't know who we got to talk to. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're going to make it happen. They know we want it. They know we're here. Nobody said a word yet. It's going to happen. The intro's coming as soon as I record the lines for my guy Dustin. It's been like 2 months now. I haven't done it. New intro's coming. Absolutely. And we may be we may be bringing back some of the gaming streams. Maybe. I've been enjoying Arc Raiders too much. I think you guys would get a kick out of me playing Arc Raiders. Some Black Ops 7. We'll see what happens with that. Been tinkering with that as well. But it's going to be a good year, guys. Thank you very much. And let's kill it for 2026. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all of the other great content on the channel. We were very busy last week. We did not do the Dynamite review because it was on New Year's Eve, and I just wasn't watching pro wrestling on New Year's Eve. I'm sorry. I tweeted about it, and I watched it the next day. But if you guys want my thoughts on that, that's on Twitter. We'll be back live on Wednesday with the Dynamite post show. Jesse will be in Florida, so I'm telling you right now, he will not be joining me as he is on vacation with his family. No, Jesse is not fired. No, Jesse is not walking away unless he wants to. I will be flying solo on Wednesday because Jesse is in Florida. This is your only warning. Super chats are open. Get them on in. It's the best way we get the support on the channels through the super chats. And hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 750 likes here on the SmackDown post show, the first show of the new year. So get those thumbs up in. And while you're at it, leave me a comment down below. Helps us out tremendously when you do hit the like and leave a comment down below. SmackDown. Let's get into what we got tonight. First SmackDown of 2026 from Buffalo, New York. I would never in 1,000 lifetimes live in Buffalo, New York. If you live in Buffalo or in the Niagara region, I feel very, very sorry for you. I do. I can't stand the cold in general. Right now, it is 24 degrees. It was freezing today. I hate the cold. I hate the winter. I hate the snow. Maybe if you lived in Norway and listened to fucking Immortal or any Dimmu Borgir or any of those black metal bands, maybe that's your type of thing. I'm not into that, and I'm not into the fucking cold, okay? I'm not. Give me a fucking palm tree, give me some 70-degree weather, and give me sun. That's what I want. Not too hot, not too cold. You people in Buffalo are fucking weirdos. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, yes. Buffalo, New York. We got the very, very stereotypical. If there's one thing I would change if I'm WWE, it is the shots of everybody walking into the building. Like, can we get like an opening theme? I miss the days of an opening theme, you know? Pyro going off to start the show. The shows just feel so cold. And they feel so lifeless. Michael Cole is there welcoming us to the fucking Key Bank Center in Buffalo, New York. And we see like Charlotte and Alexa and Cody Rhodes and Rhea Ripley and the Kabuki Warriors and all the women. And tonight's 8-woman tag team match. Walking into the building, it's like, all right. Can we get like a nice... I was going to say it. We can't say it because Sports Illustrated says it. I would love a nice rockin' theme with some pyro to kick us off, but no. And we get the very stereotypical, let's get everybody walking into the building shot like they're fucking NFL. So before we get anything going tonight, we got The Miz hijacking the show. The Miz starts the first SmackDown of 2026. Not really the best way that anybody wants to start the show. He said he isn't going to let the new year start officially until he airs his grievances from 2025. He said he asked for one match on John Cena's retirement tour. Our story needed closure. I can promise you it did not. I should have been the one to tap out John Cena. He said Cena's off smiling and riding off into the sunset while he's stuck in Buffalo. He says his second grievance regards young wrestlers he offered his knowledge to, but he was met with ungratefulness and entitlement. He said respect is not requested, it is expected, not just from the rookies, but also from the fans. So he's got a problem that he didn't get a match with John Cena. He's got a problem with Carmelo Hayes because that's exactly who he was talking about. It's the only young guy that really disrespected him. That matters on Friday night. He said one fan in the crowd was looking like 2005 Jelly Roll. So basically, you call this guy a fat slob. He said his third grievance was being passed over for Marty Supreme. He says his fourth grievance regarded those who shall not be named. He was going to say Joe, and then he kind of said, Joe, hey, no. No, he who shall not be named. Ruined his final SmackDown of the year by bringing back a very untrue nickname. And the fans then chanted, tiny balls at Miz. Somewhere Vince McMahon is smiling from ear to ear. This will not become a thing again, said The Miz. He said the silver lining is that John Cena is gone. We can't see him, and we don't want to see him anymore. He said he is the new face of WWE, the new locker room leader. He said, unlike the city of Buffalo, he actually wins championships. Fans booed because when you go at their local sports franchises, that gets the ultimate heat. He says he's the most decorated superstar in the company. He listed his WWE title reigns and being the first ever Grand Slam champion in WWE. Locker room leader, face of WWE. He is the gateway. That is a shoot. He's the gatekeeper. Everybody that gets called up has got to go through the fucking Miz. He says he is the adult in the room, which is filled with spoiled little brats. All of a sudden, Randy Orton returns to Friday Night SmackDown. His music interrupted. Buffalo melted. Legitimately, it was loud as fuck in the KeyBank Center in Buffalo. They were singing his theme. He soaked up the moment. He took his sweet time getting into the ring. And I'm on my couch asking, why is Randy Orton returning to television? Why is Randy Orton returning to work against the fucking Miz? Orton jogged out in a Buffalo Sabres t-shirt. He doesn't need the cheap pop, but he did it anyway. Miz looked concerned, and then he seen Orton enter the ring, and then all of a sudden he changes his tune very quickly. He starts cheering for Randy Orton. So we're 13 minutes into the show at this point, and then they played Randy Orton's theme all the way through. A couple of times, people were singing his theme. Orton winked and jogged and soaked up the energy around ringside. Fans chanted, Randy, Randy. Miz still has a microphone, unfortunately. And he told Buffalo to let Orton hear them cheer. And we got an RKO chant. That broke out. Miz says that both Randy Orton and himself are locker room leaders, the gateways in the faces of WWE. I'm glad you're back, Randy. We could actually, in 2026, be Miz KO. Yeah, nobody asked for that. I don't think that there's even one geek, one slob on Reddit, Squared Circle Reddit, that asks for Miz KO. Maybe there is. Maybe there's some fat slob who thinks nothing about wrestling. All he thinks about is wrestling. And he probably came up with the fantasy scenario. as he's breathing heavy into his fucking 6-layer cake. You know what Greg said? Miz and Randy Orton tag team, JD. Guarantee you this. One slob out there that thought of a Miz KO tag team. One. And he probably resides on Squared Circle Reddit. Because they all look that same exact way. Orton has a microphone. Actually, he didn't grab a microphone. I wish he did grab a microphone away from the Miz. He actually turned to the crowd for feedback, and then all of a sudden he hits an RKO out of nowhere on the Miz. So Miz was laying there on his back with a hand in the air, reaching for help. The fans were chanting for one more RKO. He grabbed him up, wished him a happy new year, and gave him a second RKO. Then he grabbed the microphone and said, I'm going to bust my ass this year and get what's coming to me. And that's the way the segment came to a close. We wasted 17 and a half minutes on Randy Orton coming back to the WWE. The first time we saw Randy Orton since SummerSlam, where he teamed with Jelly Roll. That same Reddit slob probably has fucking 6 dozen sitting on his kitchen counter right now. Jelly Roll against Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. It's the last time we saw Randall Keith Orton. And the first time we see him is in 2026, the first SmackDown of the year, in the opening segment against the fucking Miz. Now, I'm glad Randy Orton is back being employed. I'm glad he decided to show up to work finally. It is Rumble season. But this is what you're going to get, chat. This is what you're going to get, folks. A 3-hour SmackDown that WWE is going to lollygag on. A 3-hour SmackDown that WWE is going to stretch as far as that rubber band can fucking go. Because they got to fill 3 hours. And if it means Miz going out there and cutting a fucking promo for 14 minutes and Randy Orton RKOing him twice, ending the first segment of the year for an 18-minute segment, that's what's got to happen. To stretch this show to 3 hours. Would I have had Randy Orton come back tonight in this segment? No. If that was the case, you might as well have saved him for the fucking Royal Rumble. Why did he need to be here tonight? What did he do tonight that was so imperative for the WWE writing staff? He showed up. He RKO'd The Miz. He was in a backstage segment with Cody. And he looked at Cody and said, no matter who wins between you and Drew McIntyre, when you're done, I'm coming for this. And he pointed to the WWE Championship. We don't need Randy Orton to tell us what he wants. I think everybody knows exactly what Randy Orton wants. I think those same people want to see Randy Orton get what he wants. You just should have waited till the Royal Rumble if this was the best that you got. But they needed to stretch this show for an 18-minute segment. Thus, Randy Orton RKO's The Miz not once but twice. Backstage, Lash Legend and Nia Jax. They had a interview segment. Or I guess the Kabuki Warriors did. And then Lash and Nia interrupted. Asuka says they'll retain their titles on Monday, and then they will gladly defend against Nia Jax and Lash Legend when they get through Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. I don't think anybody really cares to see Lash Legend and Nia Jax against the Kabuki Warriors. Again. Like I said, Randy Orton was walking backstage after that opening segment. He talked with Cody. He says he was glad he ran into him He said out of respect, he wanted him to know that after he beats Drew McIntyre in Berlin, he's coming for the WWE Championship. He walked away. Cody had nothing to say. Nick Aldis walked up to Cody and said, Drew is there, and he cannot let Drew get under his skin. He says if he touches Orton, or if he touches Cody, rather, or Cody touches him, he'll forfeit the title. He says he'd hate to see it. Cody says he does not need to worry. He's not going to put a hand on Drew McIntyre. Eight-woman tag team match opened the show. The Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, Nia Jax, Lash Legends against Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I didn't really care about any of this. I thought this was as fundamental and as straightforward as you could possibly be. There was nothing really surprising here. There was nothing really exciting here. This was basically a setup for what we're going to get on Monday. And what we're getting on Monday is Rhea Ripley and Io Sky challenging Asuka and Kairi Sane for the Women's Tag Team Championships. I do not see Rhea Ripley and Io Sky winning the Tag Team Championships. I don't. I think Rhea is going to be an odds-on favorite to win the Royal Rumble. In fact, Rhea and Io are two of the odds-on favorites to win the Royal Rumble. I would put Bianca Belair in that discussion as well. I'd put Liv Morgan in that discussion as well. I think Rhea Ripley's going to end up taking the Rumble. That's my prediction. I didn't really care about any of this, and this served nothing more than a backup or a hype for Monday's WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. So all 8 of these women opened the show. Bell rang. All the heels attacked the baby faces. Rhea Ripley was left to face off with Asuka to start the match. Asuka stomped away on Rhea. She then got sent to the outside by Rhea, as did Kairi. Tagged to Alexa, who takes out the Kabuki Warriors with a big dive from the apron. And we took our first commercial break, which I'm assuming would be one of many, being that it is now a 3-hour show. We come back from the break. Nia Jax and Lash Legend were double-teaming Alexa Bliss. Legend got thrown out of the ring. Bliss took out Jax with a very, very weak-looking tornado DDT. Alexa tags in Charlotte, who hit both Legend and Nia with a crossbody. Flair goes to work on both of them with chops as Lash got dropped by a somersault clothesline. Charlotte then connected with a natural selection on Nia, as she then headed up top and made the moonsault attempt. She connected, and Nia Jax kicks out at a 2. I'm very glad to see that Charlotte is not doing the moonsault to the outside. I know I mentioned this once before. Charlotte doing the moonsault in the ring while her opponent is lying flat on their back is the best way to go about it. I said maybe we should do the Spanish Fly because Charlotte has a very good-looking Spanish Fly, but this is also very good. The other moonsault was terrible. I don't know why they did it for so long and why they let her keep doing it for so long. This is a lot better. It actually looks very good, and it almost all the time connects. Still not better than Tiffany Stratton's or Io's, but it's a lot better than what she was doing. Now we're on the apron. Charlotte and Lash Legend. Charlotte hits Legend with a boot. She failed to follow up with a slingshot spear as Nia Jax blocked that. Asuka got the tag. He immediately got up and stacked Flair for a pin, who then applied a figure 8 submission. Kairi got to the top rope and hit an insane elbow on Flair to break that up. Sane got thrown out of the ring by Alexa, while Io was tagged into the match and unleashed on the Kabuki Warriors. Double missile dropkick on both Asuka and Kairi by Io. Rhea was pulled down from the apron just as she was set for the tag. Io was taken out by a big boot by Lash Legend, and everybody was going crazy on social media about Lash Legend's big boot. It's legitimately the only thing she did in the match. You want to sell me on Lash Legend? And everybody's showing fake reactions and enthusiasm to Lash Legend. Meanwhile, she's been on the main roster now since War Games and hasn't done a fucking thing to impress me. What exactly am I not seeing with Lash Legend? Can someone fill me in? She's going to need to do more than a big boot. to impress me. Right now, I'm not seeing it. So she delivered that big boot, and everybody went crazy. We'll go into another commercial break after that. We come back. Match continued. Io, she gets away from the heels. Asuka knocked Bliss off the apron, so she couldn't make the tag. Io dumped Asuka as Ripley entered the match and got the hot tag. Ripley went on a flurry of offense. She used Kyrie as a weapon after Kyrie jumped off the top rope, and Rhea caught her. She almost dropped her, but caught her. She regained her balance, and she used Kyrie as a weapon to knock Asuka down. Things start to break down. Nia Jax attacked Rhea Ripley. We got all the women hitting one of their big moves. Kyrie was caught by Rhea Ripley again after a failed high-risk move. Got hit with a riptide. Io got the tag, hits the over the moonsault, and picks up the team win for the babyfaces as they go into Monday Night Raw with the momentum by beating the tag team champions. I do not think they win the women's tag team championships. I think they lose. I think the Kabuki Warriors retain, and I think Rhea Ripley's going to be an odds-on favorite, possibly winning the Royal Rumble in Saudi. This was fine. There's nothing wrong with this. It was just everybody that's been feuding in the women's division for no rhyme or reason, throw them into a big 8-woman tag team match because we got this big 2-on-2 tag team title match on Monday. Let's set the tone for it. Let's set the excitement for it. Let's build the anticipation for it. We got the two teams that are wrestling on Monday in the match. We got the other two teams who are vying for the tag team championships, one of which has already beaten the champions clean. Remember, Nia Jax and Lash Legend beat the Kabuki Warriors, so they should be in line for the titles after this match is over on Monday. I don't give a shit, but that's exactly what they've been setting up. Then we got Lyra and Bayley. They also want a shot at the Women's Tag Team Championships. Some form or fashion of a mixture of Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez or Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez more than likely will be also added to the tag team title picture. Again, this was fine for what it was. It was just there. And they wanted to set the tone for the tag team title match on Monday. Hopefully they got what they wanted out of it. Backstage, Nick Aldis was talking to Jordynne Grace. Yes. Someone who absolutely needs to be called up to the main roster. She was informed by Nick Aldis that SmackDown in 2026 could use her services. Chelsea Green appeared and interrupted this meeting between Aldis and Jordynne Grace and tried to beg Nick Aldis, saying that she did not want to wrestle Julia for the United States Championship. Mr. Aldis wasn't buying it, and he threatened to impeach Chelsea by stripping her of the United States Championship. And Jordynne Grace looked at Chelsea Green and said, some of the women on this roster are going to make it a very easy decision for me to join Friday night. I think Jordynne Grace in the United States Championship sounds pretty damn good to me. We got Kit Wilson. Who? Oh, he's one half of Pretty Dead. I guess we can actually call them that now. Pretty Dead. They are no longer alive. They're a dead tag team. I don't know what happened to the other guy, but apparently he got hurt and never came back. Elton Prince. So we got Kit Wilson playing the role of... what is his character, chat? Woke? Is he some sort of male Karen? This guy's talking about toxic masculinity. Yes, that's exactly what we need in 2026. Downplaying the masculine men. It's fantastic. I already hate the fucking gimmick. Get it off my television. Kit Wilson was out here. He wanted an opportunity as requested by him by Nick Aldis last week. He got it. His opponent was the returning Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona is back in the WWE. This is a move that I was hoping they would make going into the new year. I found it very bizarre how they did not want anything to do with this guy in the years leading up to this. And Matt Cardona is starting the new year as a full-time member of the SmackDown roster. Not Zack Ryder. No, I'm not making a mistake. This is not me fucking up. This is Matt Cardona. Zack Ryder is dead. He got what he wanted, which I'm very happy for him. You know, I've had the pleasure of calling Matt Cardona matches, doing commentary for House of Glory. They were always highly, highly entertaining. In some of those matches, he actually held himself back. He was playing more of a character. He was a heel. He was a very good heel. He was the indie god. He did what he did to get under his opponent's skin. He played to the crowd as good as you could possibly ever play a crowd. Literal hatred. He had people throwing fucking F-bombs at him. He had people throwing trash at him. Matt Cardona left WWE 5 years ago. The road was very uncertain. He had a very, very nice career for himself, but he never really found his spot outside of what they had him doing. They gave him a very small ceiling. They used him. They did what they did with him. He was the broski. He was the Long Island guy. Woo, woo, woo. You know it. Styling his hair like fucking Jersey Shore. It's fine and all for when he was there, but they didn't really see anything more than that in him. And also, I mean, I'm just speaking from the things that I see and the behaviors that I see in and around WWE, watching from afar as a fan. WWE has always been this way. If you get yourself over and you are not planned to be any more over, according to their creative team, they want you at a certain level. If you go out there and get yourself over to a point where it disrupts their system and that it forces them to make changes because now everybody wants to see more of you and they don't really want to feature you any more than they want to, that works against you. We've seen this done 1,000 fucking times. The most incredulous fucking example of this is Rusev. And I'd even go a step further. I'd go Cesaro and Jack Swagger. They had arenas around the fucking United States chanting loudly in unison, "We the people." How that team didn't materialize into any more than what they were given, I have no fucking clue. You want to know why? Because Vince didn't want "We the people." Vince wanted me, Vince McMahon. He killed that shit dead before it even got started. That was great. They were a great fucking tag team, and that shit was about to get over big time. Rusev Day was dead. He didn't want Rusev Day. He didn't get Rusev Day. He then, in turn, turned Rusev into a cuck, and he had his real-life wife, Lana, in bed with Bobby Lashley. And Rusev would be jumping out of a wedding cake in a fake wedding between Lana and Bobby Lashley. Rusev Day was dead. That's why he is now known as the Redeemer. He's trying to redeem years of terrible creative by a senile old fuck. Damien Sandow got over. Chat's yelling at me, Damien Sandow. Yes. How you fumble Damien Sandow? Damien Sandow was a great fucking gimmick. He was way ahead of his time, bro. Way ahead of his time. Vince didn't get it. Vince did not get it. He looked at Damien Sandow and he looked at the fucking, he saw the genius. That's exactly who he saw. That's who he saw. I can't push this shit on television. I'm not living in the fucking 80s. When you get yourself over, you are doomed. Doomed to fail. Zack Ryder felt that firsthand with his Z True Long Island story. That shit was blazing hot. An actual trailblazer is Matt Cardona. That led to being the elite. That led to content creation. That led to WWE opening the broader spectrum of content creation on YouTube. Vince didn't ask for it. Vince didn't want it. He had no choice. And then goodbye. We saw Cody Rhodes go to the Indies and really set the foundation for what an ex-WWE star can do away from WWE. Made a name for himself. Made himself a fucking legend on the Indies. Wrestling whomever, anywhere. Started AEW. Literally started a rival promotion against Vince McMahon. Man, that takes some fucking absolute giant motherfucking balls to go out there and do. And at the time, he had the right guy in Tony Khan to do it. He had a money guy to back up another rival wrestling promotion on Warner Networks. And whether you like AEW or not, those first few years were fucking magical, bro. Those first few years were fucking special. It was easy to go and battle Vince McMahon. It really was. It wasn't difficult at all to create better television than what WWE was creating. Especially in 2019. That's why he had Triple H try and go and do it. And then when they failed, he killed Triple H's pet project. And blamed Triple H for it. All the while, Zack Ryder was on the Indies. Cody Rhodes was on the Indies. They were making a name for themselves outside WWE. Cody Rhodes went on to start AEW. Zack Ryder, he followed that Cody Rhodes journey. He took the blueprint. He took the handbook that Cody Rhodes created, and he went out there and made money. And he's been a beacon for every ex-WWE star on the Indies, basically saying to everybody that when there is life after the E, it's not over. It's not all doom and gloom. It's going to be a very difficult test, and it's going to test you as a human being. It's going to test you as a performer. It's going to test your creativity. It's going to test your passion. Zack Ryder could have easily said, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm going to go do my podcast. I'm going to go play with my action figures and collect action figures and make my money elsewhere. The guy went out there and made himself into the biggest independent name on the whole fucking circuit. He was the most sought after, highest paid, most in-demand indie talent for the last 5 years. And every ounce of blood, sweat, and tears that he put into that run has now given him life again in WWE. If you don't give up on your dream will eventually come back to you. It's exactly what Zack Ryder basically told everybody. And he always made it known. He wanted to be back in the WWE. He never signed with AEW. He never went and signed a full-time deal with TNA. He always let everybody know, I want to be back in the E. I want to be back under my own terms. I want to be under Matt Cardona. Zack Ryder is dead. I am not going back and doing Zack Ryder. That was me in the past. I am not that anymore. This is not Zack Ryder. This is Matt Cardona. And they gave him the liberty to use the name, and they're going to keep him doing what he's been doing. His podcast and everything that came along with his independent run, the guy's going to be able to do. I don't know how many dates he's going to be able to use on the Indies. Probably none. He don't need to anymore. But he basically showed everybody that if you leave this place at some point, there is always a chance that you work hard enough and then they cannot look at you and say no. It's exactly what they did to Zack Ryder. Killed it, brought back Matt Cardona. He is now back. Love it. He wrestled Kit Wilson here. He won by pinfall. They gave Kit Wilson a little bit too much offense here. This should have been a lot quicker than it was. Before the match, Wilson introduced himself as redefining masculinity, So he took shots at the Buffalo Bills, who were sitting in the front row, and the Bills Mafia, calling them the most toxic sports fans in America. No, that would be New York fans. That would be Philadelphia fans as well. New York and Philadelphia fans are the most toxic fans in all sports. That's a shoot. And if you're one of them, I'm sorry. So he was interrupted by Matt Cardona. Zack Ryder's name showed up on the screen, and I'm really not sure if it was done by design or if it was a fucking accident. We got Zack Ryder, and then they quickly transitioned to some new Matt Cardona graphics. They gave him a new theme. I think they wanted... My initial thinking was when we saw Zack Ryder's name on the screen, like, we all knew who it was, but I think WWE might have done that as a way to, like, pop people, and then they kind of transitioned over to Matt Cardona, because how many people know Matt Cardona? I think a lot of people are familiar with Zack Ryder, so if they showed Zack Ryder first, you pop, and then they switch over to Matt Cardona, so you at least know who it is. Or maybe they just fucked up. I don't want to sound like I'm covering for WWE, but... you know, I don't want to sit here and say that they fucked up his debut. They might have done it by design. I don't know. It was either that or it was a fuck up. No in between. So he comes on out. We were then informed that Matt Cardona is now a part of the SmackDown roster full time. He fought back, stomped away at Wilson in the corner, dropped him face first with a flapjack. Cardona clotheslined Wilson out of the ring, hit him with a sliding dropkick. Wilson is on offensive here. Kick to the back of Cardona's head. He targeted Cardona's head with some punches to the face. Then he placed him on the top turnbuckle. Looked like he had something big planned, but Cardona countered with a drop kick from the top rope, followed up with a face buster. Cardona stunned Wilson, blasted him with a big broski boot. He didn't do the woo, woo, woo. You know it. He just did the broski boot. Double underhook powerbomb. Kit Wilson kicked out. Wilson then sent Cardona face first into the turnbuckle, connected on what he called the tourniquet. Cardona kicked out. Cardona quickly transitioned into what he now calls radio silence. Michael Cole on commentary called it the Rough Rider. Corey Graves said, is he still calling it that? Yes, it's the Rough Rider, but it's under a different name. It's now called radio silence. So we got the win with his Rough Rider / radio silence finish, and that was enough for the win. Cardona's under his real name. They acknowledged it. Michael Cole even acknowledged that he was under Matt Cardona, came back as Zack Ryder in the John Cena tournament, and now is back to being Matt Cardona. It is a little silly that they had him come back as Zack Ryder, and now he's Matt Cardona. Only weeks before that, he was on NXT television as Matt Cardona because he was working on a short-term basis with TNA. But then he goes on to the John Cena tournament and he's Zack Ryder. I don't know why he just wasn't Matt Cardona from the get-go. Regardless, Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, it doesn't really matter what the fuck his name is. I'm just glad he's back on television. This could be his show. Matt Cardona, United States Championship. Matt Cardona. Listen, Matt Cardona, if built right, could be a world champion. If the story is right. I'm glad that they actually gave him another chance. I'm glad all the hard work paid off. He's a fucking inspiration to a lot of fucking people. In and out of wrestling. And he's a local guy, too. He's a New Yorker. You got to stick together. Happy he's back. Fucking great to see him on television. I think he's going to fit in really, really good on SmackDown. Damian Priest, he was interviewed about his ambulance match against Aleister Black. As he said, he was put through hell for 6 months by Aleister. Priest promised that Aleister Black would be the one who fades to black when all is said and done. I like the way that they built this matchup. They hyped it up throughout the show. We got visual of the ambulance. We got promos by both Priest and Black. And they really made it into a big deal. I thought that was an excellent aspect to the show. You got this main event. They're building it up as like the last chapter for these two guys, and they gave you promos from both. They gave you the glimpse of the ambulance. They gave you a history of the ambulance match in WWE. They really made it feel like a big deal. And I very much appreciate that as a fan. The Wyatt Six. They had another one of them creepy vignettes where they're all sitting around and it's like old school VHS style. The thing is, this wasn't Uncle Howdy cutting the promo with the rest of the Wyatt Six standing behind. This was Bo Dallas cutting the promo, which is something that I had absolutely requested. I said, that's fine that Uncle Howdy wrestles and Uncle Howdy is seen on camera in the ring. But when you got shit like this, or you need to do a promo, I think it should be Bo Dallas speaking to everybody. The one thing that they need to do to fix the Wyatt Six is humanize them just a little bit. Make them relatable. The one thing that I've always said from the first day, when Bray Wyatt came back, after they brought him back again, the first thing that I said was, people listen when he speaks. You can do The Fiend, you could do Bray in any which incarnation. But when Bray speaks as a human being, people listen, people care, and people relate. The same would be said about Uncle Howdy here, Bo Dallas. When he needs to wrestle, Uncle Howdy can wrestle. But when you got to get a point across and you got something to say, it should be coming from the mouth of Bo Dallas. Because Bo Dallas is basically Bray Wyatt. They look the same, they sound the same, they lead the same faction. He's carrying his brother's legacy on into the future. I don't want to hear from Uncle Howdy. I want to see the man behind the mask. And that's exactly what they did here. He's a little bit more understandable. He's a little bit more relatable. They got Uncle Howdy disguising his voice. You don't really know what he's saying or what he's trying to say. He speaks in riddles. Like, this was a lot better than what they have been presenting the Wyatt Six as. So more of this. Next time we see this, it should always be Bo Dallas. In a video promo about Solo Sikoa and what the meaning of family was. Bo Dallas said that Solo didn't comprehend the force that he is up against and said that the Wyatt family was filled with millions of fireflies around the world that will always remember. Dallas said that it was time to chop down Solo's family tree and that when the dust settles, they would be the ones. Very basic. We don't even really know, like, we don't have like a real crux to why these two factions are feuding. From what I gather, the only reason why they're feuding is because it's almost like a turf war. You got this Wyatt Six, who has all these members. By default, they're the largest family on Friday Night SmackDown. And then you got the MFTs. You got 5 MFTs. And they want to be the one faction who reigns supreme on Friday Night SmackDown. I guess it really doesn't need much of a story, but I mean, if you add a little bit more personal feeling to the story and give me a reason to fucking care about why these two groups are feuding outside of, well, I want to be the best faction on Friday Night SmackDown and I want the tag team championships, I'm going to need more than that. You could put the tag team championships on the line and make that the prize at the end of the tunnel, but at the end of the day, I want a substantial reason why these two feuds, or why these two factions, rather, are feuding on Friday Night SmackDown outside of the basics. You know, the basics that a fucking second grader could write. If you find this interesting, then God bless you. Me, I don't. I couldn't give a single shit about the MFTs or the Wyatt Six. Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's back on SmackDown. He's another one of those guys that we got back. The show was better with Sami on it. We haven't seen him since October when he lost the United States Championship after 7 weeks to a returning Ilya Dragunov. He talked about John Cena. The last time we saw Sami Zayn was not in a wrestling ring. Well, last time he wrestled was against Dragunov, but the last time we physically saw him was on December 13th. He was sitting in the front row with his son, watching John Cena's final match as a fan with the rest of everybody in attendance. Zayn said that Cena's last match really hit him in some way as his son asked him why they called John Cena the Never Seen 17. Zayn talked about how his son then asked how many times his dad won the world championship. And he told his son that he held the championship 0 times. And that they called John Cena the Never Seen 17 because he's won the championship 17 times. He recounted how it doesn't make sense that his son has been wrestling or seen him wrestling all these champions and why that world championship hasn't come his father's way. Zayn says that made him sick, that he had to talk about being a world champion last year. And he wants to do something about that in 2026. And this would be the year that he's coming for the WWE Championship. He was interrupted. He was interrupted by Trick Williams, who got an incredible reaction in Buffalo, New York. Everybody on cue chanted, "Whoop that Trick." He's going to be a great addition to Friday Night SmackDown. That is one of the most exciting aspects of the show, in my opinion. The energy he brings when he comes on out is up there with some of the best in the company. When he comes out, you know. When Trick comes out, you legitimately see superstar dripping all over him. The way he sounds, the way he looks, the way he dresses. The guy is a fucking superstar. I think the body of work, character-wise, is great. I think he's really... I don't want to make comparisons because he's still young yet, but I genuinely see why Booker T was so high on him. I genuinely think that Booker T sees a lot of himself in Trick Williams. I think Trick Williams has the makings of the next Booker T, and that's not a comparison that anybody should be shying away from. Booker T was great. Booker T is a legend. Hall of Famer. Multi-time world champion. One of the best tag teams of all time. I think Trick Williams has that next Booker T in him. So I love it. I love that he's on Friday night. Fans came out. They gave him a superstar main event welcome. He entered the ring and said that the sexiest and most entertaining superstar has arrived on Friday Night SmackDown. He said he and Sammy haven't been introduced formally. He says he has many nicknames. And he went over his nicknames and Trick Willie. You can call me Trick Willie. He says, what you get when you combine Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, and Mike Tyson is Trick Willie. Some pretty high praise for himself. He said Nick Aldis called him, and he called 1-800-WHOOP-THAT-TRICK and told him that SmackDown needed the pizzazz that only he can bring. When Sammy started speaking, Trick said, I wasn't done. He says he can take off his shades and coat, and he's still 6'5", 250 pounds. He said Nick Aldis believes they need someone who can win the world title and look the part. He told Sammy he is there to become a world champion. He says they're not the same. He told Sammy it took him 20 years to get an opportunity, and he's not someone who's going to almost be champion. Oh, the phone number is 1-800-WHOOP-THAT. I'm sorry. 1-800-WHOOP-THAT. I like it. So he basically threw it in Sammy's face that it took him 20 years to get an opportunity, and he is not someone who's going to almost be champion. He will be the WWE champion. Sammy asked, can I talk now? Trick said yes. Sammy says he's watched his career. He has the tools, but you have yet to be humbled. He asked if he's the first guy to look good or walk through the ropes and say they're going to skip the queue and win the world championship. No, you're not. No, you're not the first guy to do that. We've seen many of you come here and do the same thing and say the same thing. Sammy says he has no problem teaching him a thing or two about what it means to be humbled waiting for Logan Paul's theme to hit. He shoved the mic in Trick's chest, and he walked away, and Trick said nothing, did nothing. He let Sammy walk by. If we're setting up a Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams feud, you got no hesitation from me. You got no problem from me. Sami Zayn's Mr. I don't have a bad match ever. So instead of putting Trick Williams against the fucking Miz, because the Miz is the default gatekeeper on Friday night, let's give Trick Williams a nice little test. This guy's got the fucking management team drooling over the fact that they got this 6'5" guy, 250-pound dude who exudes world champion walking onto Friday Night SmackDown, who's got the crowd in the palm of his hand, future world champion in the making here. Instead of feuding him with the fucking bottom of the barrel, they're bringing him to Friday Night SmackDown, and his first match is next week against Rey Fenix, someone else who needs a shot on Friday Night SmackDown. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Rey Fenix. Now that Penta's back, I think we stop fucking around, dilly-dallying around, and get the Lucha Brothers back together. I don't know what's taking them so long. Tag team division could use them. Usos versus Lucha Brothers at WrestleMania sounds fucking good to me. Rey Fenix is better used in a tag team role if you're not going to use him in a prominent singles role, which they haven't done yet. Match with Trick Williams is next week. Sami Zayn, who knows? They may meet in the Royal Rumble. But I like that they're throwing Trick Williams into the deep end of the pool. Rey Fenix, Sami Zayn. That'll be a great test. Two guys who can fucking wrestle. See if Trick Williams can pass that test. I like it. He's going to add a lot of life to Friday Night SmackDown. I genuinely think him and Carmelo Hayes for the United States Championship is the match that you start building. That's the feud. That should be the one to go into WrestleMania. I think Carmelo holds that championship, and then Trick Williams is the one to take it off him. There's no reason to rush Trick Williams to a WWE championship. He's never going to be in that discussion. He should not be in that league yet. There are levels to this. The only one that should... I won't even put Obafemi in that discussion. I mean, look at Gunther. He started off winning the Intercontinental Championship and holding it for 600 days. Why are we going to take someone and rush them to the fucking World Championship? Braun Breaker held the Intercontinental title. Now he's wrestling for the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther won the IC title. Now he is the one who retired John Cena and a two-time World Heavyweight Champion. Carmelo Hayes is a United States champion. I could see Carmelo Hayes holding a World Championship 5 years from now. Why rush Trick Williams to a World Championship? It's great that that's an aspiration of his. But I don't think we need to put him in that discussion. Like I said, I won't even bring Obafemi to the main roster and thrust him to the main event scene and have him win the World Championship. There are levels. No need to rush. When you reach the top of the mountain so quick, the only way to go is down. You want a slow climb. The slow climb to get to the top is more fruitful than climbing all the way up and fucking reaching the top of the mountain. When you get there, what else is there to do? They're so young. Take your time with it. Wrestling Sami Zayn would be a good test. It's actually going to push Sami Zayn more if he could stand the test of the youngsters on his way to a world championship. That's what the test is. You got these young kids infiltrating Friday Night SmackDown. Sami's made it known for months now he wants the world championship. Yeah, you got this guy and that guy. You got Randy Orton. You got the legends. You got the veterans. Now you got this fucking guy coming off Friday Night SmackDown wanting a world championship because he feels like he deserves it. That's why Sami said, I'm going to humble you, beat you, and then I'm going to win the fucking world title. Trick is going to have a rude awakening. But I like it. Him on Friday Night SmackDown is going to be really, really good. Backstage, Dragunov wished Carmelo Hayes a happy new year. It's another guy. SmackDown's roster is stacked. After tonight's moves, SmackDown's roster is stacked. They just need better roster management for 3 hours. Dragunov wished Hayes a happy new year. He said he wanted to fight the best version of the best, and he gave that to him. He said the outcome wasn't what he expected or what he wanted, but there are worse things in life than losing to him. He asked if he plans to continue the open challenge. Hayes says that after he takes care of Johnny Gargano, yes, he's going to keep the lights on for the United States Open Challenge. I wish he did not. We've seen 4 months of the United States Open Challenge. I do not want to see Carmelo Hayes go through all these people, just like Sammy did and just like Dragunov did. We're just going to run through the same fucking people with a different champion. What the championship needs and what Carmelo Hayes needs is a story. You don't need to put the championship on the line every fucking week because we've been seeing it for 4 months. Let's start getting that championship and revolving that championship around some story. The camera followed Hayes. Dragunov walked away. Hayes walks up to The Miz and asks The Miz what was up. Hayes thanked The Miz because he says he wouldn't be there without The Miz. Miz says, holy shit, you came to your senses. You're actually thanking me. Thank you. That means a lot. Hayes said, no, I'm thanking you for finally leaving me alone because I've been better ever since. And he laughed with the United States Championship in his face. Now, if there's an open challenge, I could see The Miz absolutely answering the open challenge just to kind of put the kibosh on that Miz and Carmelo Hayes dilemma. So that's one. But in my honest opinion, I would do away with the United States Open Challenge. We've seen enough of it. You could always bring it back later in the year. And I think WWE would be better off just doing a nice, solid story around the challenger chasing the champion. Nick Aldis. He was with Rey Fenix. And he wants Rey Fenix to make 2026 his best year yet. Trick Williams walked in and said, listen, I was disrespected by Sami Zayn out there. Phoenix said something to Nick Aldis in Spanish. Trick asked, what did you say? Phoenix said the new guy has a lot to learn about respect. So this obviously angered Rey Fenix and angered Trick Williams. Aldis told Trick, listen, you're making a lot of friends around here in your first night. So maybe you need to be taught a lesson. Next week, your official SmackDown debut against Rey Fenix. Trick Williams said, that's exactly what I wanted. United States Championship match. Carmelo Hayes, Johnny Gargano, with Candice LeRae in his corner. Johnny Gargano came out first, and unfortunately, because he's a heel, he came out to his old NXT heel black and gold music, which is awful. This music sucks. I love the fact that when they were on TV a few weeks ago, I could have swore we heard Rebel Heart. Or am I losing my mind? Chat, did they come out with Rebel Heart? Didn't Ciampa get his old NXT No One Will Survive theme back? What happened? Did the music guy fall asleep and somebody else took his spot tonight? What happened? Johnny Gargano's heel NXT theme is fucking garbage. Please go back to Rebel Heart, please. Carmelo Hayes comes out. He's got a nice little entrance. We got this gold lettering lining up the aisleway that spells him. Really giving him a superstar treatment now that he's won the United States Championship. This match was fucking great. This was great. Sami Zayn was a great champion. Dragunov was a great champion. Carmelo Hayes is going to be a great champion. He got his reign started off the right way. These guys went 16 minutes. I love Johnny Gargano. I think Johnny Gargano's a great wrestler. I think Johnny Gargano has been so severely underutilized. It's a crime how good the guy is compared to how they have used him creatively. In NXT, the guy was like the face of the fucking brand. And on the main roster, that never has translated. I don't want to say he's completely, not at fault. He certainly is some of the blame there, but Triple H hasn't really done much of anything exciting with fucking DIY. You got Ciampa, who is the best heel in the industry in NXT, and Gargano, who is the best baby face in the industry, and they've both been treated like shit on the main roster. I mean, this is a thing. I think we all know this already by now. This is not new information. But it just pains me to know that these guys are still so great at what they do, and they have not been given any decent story, any decent creative. This was a great match. It very much reminded me of the old Black and Gold. You can take what they did here tonight, put it on a takeover, and it would have been a great match regardless. Probably even better than what they did tonight. Hayes went right on the attack. He avoided a cheap shot from Johnny, threw him out of the ring before the match could get on the way. So the bell had a delay start. Once the bell finally rang, Hayes met Gargano with a drop kick. He continued the attack in the corner. Hayes hit a nice leg drop. Gargano was down, and Gargano took the advantage here as Hayes knocked him out. Or he tried to take advantage. Hayes knocked him out with a knee to the face. Gargano is now on the outside. He used Candice LeRae as a shield to avoid a dive as he nailed Carmelo Hayes with a slingshot spear. A dive to the outside by Gargano again sent Hayes into the barricade as we go into the commercial break. So we come back from the break. Gargano maintained his attack on Carmelo. Blocked big boot allowed Hayes to hit a springboard lariat, which is always great looking. Hayes followed that up with a La Mystica for a near fall. Hayes is in the corner with Gargano, hits Gargano with a kick to the back of the head. He hits a fadeaway leg drop, which looked fantastic. He's now on the top rope. Hayes connected with a frog splash. Gargano kicked out again in a 2. Hayes knocked Gargano down with another clothesline. He goes back up top. Gargano stops him, hits Carmelo hard with a shot. Hayes is stunned. On top, Hayes avoided an avalanche air raid crash and attempted a superplex. Gargano reversed that into a final cut suplex, and we go into another commercial break. That looked really good. We come back from the second commercial break. Hayes blocked Gargano's springboard attempt from the apron with a cutter using the top rope, followed that up with a DDT onto the ring apron. Now we're back in the ring proper. Gargano countered a facebuster attempt into a tornado DDT. Hayes kicked out at a 2. Hayes stopped Gargano's slingshot spear with the boot. Heads up top. Candice LeRae created a distraction here. This was long enough for Johnny to hit an avalanche air raid crash on Carmelo. He only got a 2 count. Gargano and Hayes got into a pinning exchange back and forth. Gargano connected with something that was reversed. First 48, followed by nothing but net. 1, 2, 3. And Carmelo Hayes gets the win over Johnny Gargano. Very, very good match. And a great first title defense. The one thing I loved about commentary, Michael Cole mentioned how important this was for Carmelo Hayes. And Johnny Gargano knowing how important that first title defense is. So Michael Cole referenced when Johnny Gargano won the North American Championship, his first match, he lost it. NXT Championship, first match, first title defense, he lost it. So I love the fact that they kind of weave that statistic. Michael Cole was very on point with his statistics tonight. I love the fact that they weaved those statistics into the overall commentary of this match, comparing Johnny Gargano's first title defense to how important it is for Carmelo to get started on the right foot because Johnny did not. And Johnny knows exactly what a first title defense means because he's looking to take that away from Carmelo. I love that. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot to tell a story. It doesn't. It all starts with the commentary team. This is why I think AEW has the worst commentary team in the business. They do not do a good job at all of filling you in on those gaps. They don't. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't read off statistics. They don't go back and tell proper story, very simple story like that. They don't. Michael Cole did an excellent job of detailing the first title defense between Carmelo Hayes here and what Johnny Gargano had to do in NXT. Excellent. Tama Tonga. He was seen watching this match between Carmelo Hayes and Johnny Gargano. I guess they're still kind of maybe teasing that he's going to be one of the guys to answer the open challenge. At this point, who cares? He was watching this match, and he was watching it in a normal way people watch TV. Shinsuke Nakamura walked in, confronted him. They got some history between themselves in New Japan. Nakamura said something to Tama Tonga in Japanese. Tama Tonga replied in Japanese. And Nakamura walked away laughing. All of a sudden, we see a black glove touch Tama Tonga on the right shoulder. It ends up being Solo Sikoa. Is everything okay? Yeah. Just some old history. So he talked about Tama Tonga, about how next week it needs to be the MFTs beating the Wyatts, because apparently there's going to be a big 4-on-4 match, a big 8-man tag team match next week. And once those issues with the Wyatts are finished, they're coming for the tag team titles and going to take the tag team titles off the Wyatt 6 next. Again, I don't really care. Don't know what the Shinsuke Nakamura, Tama Tonga stare down was for. Who knows? Jade Cargill. She was supposed to wrestle Michin tonight. Michin got hurt at a WWE live event over the weekend as she succumbed to a shoulder injury, which apparently is devastating the industry right now. The shoulder injury is devastating the industry. Michin, Luchasaurus, Sheamus, Dominic Mysterio. We got a lot of different people. Liv Morgan was out with a shoulder injury. Penta was out for 5 weeks with a shoulder injury. I don't know what the fuck's going on with the shoulder injuries. She was interviewed by Kathy Kelly, I believe, and she was asked about Michin and the injury that occurred during a WWE live event, and Kathy Kelly asked Jade if she did it on purpose. And Jade said, yes, I did. Cargill said that she deserved what happened. Jordynne Grace came in as she walked up to Jade Cargill. She had some words for the WWE Women's Champion. Jade Cargill basically says, that's fine. You can show up here on Friday Night SmackDown. I'm glad you came up to me and said what's up, because I'm that bitch. Grace turned Jade Cargill's words against her, saying, I'm Jordynne Grace, but you're definitely one of those. Also known as a bitch. So she basically called Jade a bitch. Legitimately. I doubt Jade and Jordynne Grace is going to be the program. I think they're just waiting for Bianca to come back. WWE Creative has done absolutely zero favors for Jade Cargill. It all starts with building a division around her so that there may be some competition. There is no one. Because believe it or not, I'm siding with Jade on this. I'd love to blame Jade, but the fact that she's had 0 title defenses in what, 60 days now? You can't blame that on Jade. How about we blame the fucking writing team for not supplying this woman with the proper division so that she may defend her fucking championship? Jordynne Grace is only step 1 of many. We need another 5 or 6 women to join this fucking show because she got 2 top stars in Alexa Bliss and Charlotte who are operating on Monday night more so than they are on Friday. And all the women are tied up in a fucking tag team division that everybody supposedly now is highly interested in for whatever fucking reason. How can Jade get better if there is no competition for her? How is that championship looking any better on Jay than it did on Tiffany? Everybody blamed Tiffany for having a terrible title reign. Tiffany's not to blame. Triple H is to blame. Every 4 weeks, he had her wrestling Nia Jax. The most memorable thing about Tiffany Stratton's title run was her fucking back and forth promo with Charlotte Flair, where she mentioned Charlotte Flair's failed marriages. Literally nothing about what she's done in the ring, and Tiffany's a very sound professional wrestler. We need to fix that division immediately. Enough waiting on Bianca to get back. I think everybody knows what the direction is for Jade Cargill. They're waiting for Bianca to come back. And when Jade loses the championship, and she will be one of those women that goes down in the annals of history of having one of the worst championship reigns of all time, and she's not to blame for it. Cody Rhodes. He was still looking for Drew McIntyre, who has not shown up in the building yet. Cody Rhodes walked by Sami Zayn. He asked Sami if he knew where Drew McIntyre was. Sami Zayn said no. Cody seemed to be, I guess, kind of frustrated over the fact that Sami Zayn has already made his intentions known for 2026. Not like he has any other problems. He got Drew McIntyre in 3 stages of hell. Randy Orton just told him he's coming after the title. Unless Sami Zayn wants the title. So he's a little frustrated as Cody. Sami Zayn went on to say, I have a lot of respect for you, Cody. You know I love you, but you know better than anybody the shoes that I've been in because you were there. So yes, I'm coming after the WWE title. It's basically all setting up the big competition we're going to get in the Royal Rumble. Everybody wants to win the Rumble. So Nick Aldis showed up, and he was asked by Cody where Drew McIntyre is. Nick Aldis had no answer. Rhodes says, well, that's great. I'm heading to the ring, and we're going to settle this right now. Cody Rhodes. He walks on out. He gets his entrance. Everybody gives everybody a whoa. He asked how one obtains the richest prize in sports entertainment, and that it was his mentality when approaching anyone in a WWE ring that led him to championship glory. So fans are now giving him the UK Cody chant, because now Buffalo apparently thinks they're Manchester. He says he's not the biggest, the fastest, the strongest. No, that's Bianca Belair. Now, Cody, you're not the EST. Bianca Belair is. He's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, he's not the strongest. And it shocks him these days as a second generation wrestler that he's no longer the youngest wrestler on the roster. He says he'd like to say what separates him isn't his heart, but rather it's his mentality when he approaches anyone in a WWE ring. He says he arrived early at 2 o'clock, and he's had his belt with him because he wants everyone to see him seeing them. He said when they see him, they think the main event, the money, the bus, the jet, the suit, the fans. Okay, Ric Flair. He says, then comes the envy. Drew said what he said in the weeks leading up to this. And Cody says that Drew reeks of envy. He says he's thankful for it. He says he cannot wait for the fight with Drew McIntyre. He said, in the spirit of an arena that is incredibly important for him and at one point rallied for him, he'd tell them an even bigger secret. He said when he sits backstage and smiles, his whole superpower is that he plays dumb. He says when the Unreal cameras for Netflix think they're capturing everything, they're playing checkers, but Cody is playing chess. He says what he sees when he sees Drew is lunch. He says they can call themselves the final boss, the tribal chief, the greatest of all time, the game, or the Scottish warrior. But he's the one who calls himself the champion. I wonder if any of those other names like the Tribal Chief or the Final Boss are going to have anything to do with Cody's run into WrestleMania. There was some Rock news today. Some Rock rumors starting today. That WWE apparently has an offer for The Rock to wrestle. Big money offer for The Rock to wrestle in Saudi Arabia next year in 2027. Now, I'm assuming there's going to be an offer. Because if Saudi's paying $250 million plus for 2 nights of WrestleMania, I'm assuming they want to get their money's worth, and that only happens with The Rock. I don't know if that's possible. I would very much not want to see The Rock show up only to disappear again. That would be so incredibly frustrating. I can't even begin to tell you. But if the idea is Rock in any way and Roman, the only way that makes any sense is if we do Cody and Roman at WrestleMania and The Rock costs Roman the championship and Cody goes heel. Cody eventually sells his soul to The Rock and Cody Rhodes becomes The Rock's champion. That's the only way it works. From that point on, you would hope you would get a sporadic appearance from Rock here, a sporadic appearance from The Rock there. I'm not asking for fucking weeks of Rock on television. I'm asking for a couple of appearances. Cody turns heel. Cody beats Roman. That's the foundation set for Rock and Roman in Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania in 2027. Because otherwise, why are you doing Rock and Roman? You're doing it for a clear cash grab, and that's exactly what WWE needs to avoid. You don't want to give people a match when you have a great story to tell this match and then bypass that story very blatantly just to give us a Rock and Roman match because the Saudis are paying big money for Rock to be there, and then you give us nothing that leads up to it. What do you think, we're fucking stupid? The Rock can ill afford to do that, being that he's left fucking logic gaps as wide as Bruce's asshole on television. You cannot show up on television, do this match because it's Final Boss versus Tribal Chief. It's family versus family. Why? So this is why I ask. I wonder if these name drops have anything to do with where we may be going. And that does not change in Berlin. He says that does not change in Berlin. Drew interrupted. He's standing in front of the parking garage, and behind Drew McIntyre is Cody's American Nightmare bus. You're just so predictable with your rah-rah speeches, Cody. He says he's so predictable since he's so old school. He said in a world of shades of gray, he is as vanilla as it gets. I think that's a shoot. How many people think Cody Rhodes is vanilla? I'm sure a lot of you guys watching me tonight think Cody Rhodes is vanilla. He says he tried real hard to come up with the right stipulations. He said back in his dad's day, they settled things in a 3 falls match. And then he upped the ante with a 3 stages of hell match. So he's got the 3 stages of hell. And we're about to get Drew McIntyre laying the rules and regulations for the 3 stages of hell. He said the first fall will be a straight wrestling match. Safe. The one thing I asked for last week is for Triple H to play it a little unpredictable. Straight wrestling match. Why? He says he knows the refs won't screw him over because they know what will happen to them. He wants to get back at everybody by beating Cody in a one-on-one regular WWE-issued match. Then a Falls Count Anywhere match will occupy Fall 2. It's a little bit better. Falls Count Anywhere matches usually are typically very good. Typical WWE plunder, no rules, no disqualifications, anything goes. And finally, if by some miracle it's 1-1, because we know it will be, and we go to a third fall, the third fall will be inside an old school steel cage with no outside interference and no bullshit. 2 men enter, 1 champion leaves. He says he's already broken him mentally. Next week, he'll break Cody physically. He says that's if he's still champion next week. He said if he touches him before then, he'll be stripped of the WWE title. He says he's going to test Cody Rhodes' self-restraint with 1 week to go before the 3 stages of hell. So Drew McIntyre is on television here tonight, basically insinuating that he was on the bus. He was roaming around inside the bus. He got himself a cold beverage. He got himself a peek at some of the souvenirs. He got Brandy. Cody did what Brandy got for Christmas. Some family heirlooms. And he's standing there with a picture of a very young Cody and his beloved dad, Dusty Rhodes. And he's standing there with this picture in the frame. And Cody's just seething. He's in the ring still. McIntyre's still outside in the cold buffalo air right in front of the bus. He takes the picture. He throws the fucking picture down on the ground. Glass breaks all around him, and he steps on the picture. So Cody is upset at this. Cody ran to the back. We got a line of security blocking Cody because the cameras followed him. As soon as he ran up the aisleway, the cameras followed him all the way through the back. Security, Nick Aldis was already waiting exactly where Drew McIntyre was. But by the time he got there, Drew McIntyre wasn't there. So when Cody got to the bus and the broken glass, the picture wasn't there. Drew McIntyre now was in the ring. So as soon as Cody left, McIntyre left the scene of his crime and he went out to ringside. So Drew is in the ring. He showed up with the photo in the ring, and inside the ring was a trash can. In one hand, he had the picture. In the other hand, he had a lighter. He had fire. Drew laughed. He told him to run faster. It's showtime now, Cody. It's showtime. He held up the photo. Security is holding Cody back as he's trying to charge the ring. Everybody's telling him, don't fall for it. Don't go for it. Drew found out the hard way here how a lighter is not going to burn the picture the way that he wants almost immediately. I know they wanted the visual, but they should have just threw the fucking... he should have had some gasoline. He should have threw the picture in the trash can and lit the fucking thing on fire. It would have been so much better of a visual. But I get what they were going for. So he had a little bit of a difficult time trying to light this picture on fire. It didn't immediately light up, but then it started to catch fire. And the visual of it ended up being great. He takes the lighter. He starts lighting the bottom portion of the picture. It starts to slowly burn. Then you see it just start to fully engulf in flames. He's holding it up as long as he could so that he doesn't burn himself. And then he dropped it in the trash can. Cody's now leaning against the ring. You got referees, you got officials, you got Nick Aldis out there, all security, all holding him back. And McIntyre leans in under the bottom rope as far as he could into Cody's face. And he starts laughing and taunting Cody Rhodes, daring Cody to hit him because he wanted to test Cody's patience. He wanted to test Cody's anger management. Cody wanted to punch him. Drew McIntyre knew if he did, he'd be stripped of the title. He didn't, though. He laughed at Cody. He taunted Cody. They backed Cody away. This was a great fucking segment. This was the best segment, in my opinion, all night. This was excellent. You can see how good Drew McIntyre is when he is given a task to go out there and tell a story and get heat. He is fucking great. And so is Cody. When Cody is pushed as a babyface to actually be that fighting, defiant champion, where he's not sounding like a fucking presidential candidate and he's not acting like he's running for office. Cody is great. Cody's a great storyteller. It's easy to tell a Cody story because he's so deep-rooted in family. It's the easiest thing to go for. You know you're going to set him off just by talking about his fucking dad. And there's so many things you could do. And Drew McIntyre, he did the one thing that got him suspended. He invaded Cody's bus. He continued to show up on television because Paul Heyman found a loophole. He got himself reinstated. He got himself a championship match. Cody wanted revenge because he felt like his home was invaded. So Cody invaded Drew's home and threw him into the pond on his front lawn. And now he's once again invading Cody's privacy. He's going and walking on the bus where his wife and his daughters sleep. He's rummaging through personal belongings to try and egg him on and trying to get him to break. And Cody hasn't. But now he's going to break him inside the 3 stages of hell next week. From Berlin. Early start time with VPN. This is very much going to be, I'll believe it when I see it type of thing. Would I give Drew McIntyre the WWE Championship? Yes. Yes, I would. I'm going to make a very bold prediction here. I don't think either championship changes hands on Monday. I think Punk retains the championship for his Braun Breaker because I think LA Knight's going to show up. I think LA Knight's coming back on television. I think we're going to get an LA Knight CM Punk World Championship match, whether it's at Saturday Night's main event or at the Royal Rumble. I think that's the championship match at the Rumble. I think Braun Breaker, he very well could win the Royal Rumble. I don't think Punk loses the championship. I want Drew McIntyre to win the championship because I feel like after all that we've seen him go through, having him lose here would be an absolute death blow to Drew McIntyre creatively. How do you bounce back from that? After all that you did, how do you bounce back from that? I said it weeks ago, and I'm going to reiterate what I said here weeks ago tonight. I think the only reason why they gave you a 3 stages of hell match is because, A, they want to make an impact because SmackDown desperately needs it. And number 2, I think they did this because they want to give Drew McIntyre a visual in front of the audience pinfall over Cody Rhodes. I think Drew McIntyre will win the first fall. I think Cody will win the second fall. I think Cody will win the third fall. I think Cody will win and retain the WWE Championship because I think a returning Jacob Fatu is going to return. He's going to help Cody because at the end of it all, it will be revealed that Drew McIntyre took out Jacob Fatu and wrote him off television. I think that's where we're going. And I think whatever we got planned on Friday Night SmackDown with Cody, he's going to shift right into a Randy Orton feud. And I think we're going to get Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. And I think that's what's going to be on the trajectory for both of them going into 2026. Maybe they're revisited again somewhere down the line. I don't know. I do not think Drew McIntyre is going to win the WWE Championship, though I would put the belt on him. There's nothing wrong with putting the belt on Drew for 3 or 4 weeks to only take it back off of him at Saturday Night's main event or the Rumble or, worst case, Elimination Chamber. I just don't see WWE doing that. I don't. I thought this was a fantastic segment. If you didn't like it, that's your problem. I thought this was great stuff. Chelsea Green defended the United States Championship against Julia. Went 7 minutes. This was not even scheduled for tonight. The only reason why this was scheduled for tonight is because Michin got hurt, and that was supposed to be the match. Michin versus Jade Cargill in a non-title match was supposed to be on this show, not Julia versus Chelsea Green. So we'll pick it up after the break here. Really nothing to report here outside of a new United States Championship. 2 heels. Chelsea Green is entertaining to an extent. I'm not really into it like others may be. She's entertaining, but I think the shtick, I think the secret Hervis is old. I'd call up Ethan Page and pair Chelsea Green with Ethan Page. I think they work very good together. After the break, Julia had Chelsea in a sleeper hold. Chelsea escaped. They then trade strikes in the middle of the ring. Green got the best of Julia with a set of clotheslines, followed by a big kick. With Julia now stunned. She's across the middle rope. Chelsea Green connected with some double knees to the back of Julia's neck. In the middle of the ring, Chelsea Green attempted an unpretty her. Couldn't capitalize. Chelsea then hits a radio silence. Her husband's finishing move. Kiana James gets on the apron to distract the referee. Alba Fire, who is on the outside in Chelsea's corner, pulled James off the apron. Back to the match, Julia intercepted a Chelsea Green off the top rope, hitting an avalanche underhook DDT, and rolled through for a Northern Lights bomb. 1, 2, 3, and Chelsea Green loses the United States Championship to Julia. Julia is now a 2-time United States champion. So Julia beat Zelina and got no reaction for it. Julia then went on to have one of the worst United States Championship, let me scratch that, one of the worst title reigns, period, in WWE all year, one of the worst reigns of the modern era, because they didn't do anything with her. They gave the title back to Chelsea for whatever fucking reason. I guess they needed something different. Only to then put the title back on Julia, who won here tonight in Buffalo and got zero reaction. Nothing has changed. The reaction for Julia hasn't changed. The pairing with Kiana James is doing nothing for either woman. And the United States Championship now sits on Julia in a division that hasn't changed. I would take the title, burn the fucking title, and use the leather to make a new fucking belt for me. That's what I would use it for. And I would sell the gold plating on the black market for whatever fucking cents it's worth. The fucking gold plating that sits on the title. What exactly do you think this is going to do for the United States Championship? Is this WWE's second attempt to try and get Julia over? Well, maybe you should have thought of that before you put the fucking title on her. How about let's get her away from Kiana James first? That's what we should do. Secondly, who's been added to this division officially that is going to immediately feud with Julia? Jordynne Grace is a relative unknown. Nobody knows a fucking thing about her. She hasn't wrestled on the main roster yet. I'm sure it's not going to be that difficult for her to get over because she's great and she's dynamic and believable and legit. But who are you going to put in the ring with Jordynne Grace to help her get over? Or are we just going to do tit for tat, flip-flop the fucking titles because WWE doesn't give a shit about the United States title at the end of the day? Julia winning the championship should not be celebrated. Julia being a 2-time United States champion should not be celebrated. There is no reason to celebrate because there's no reason to trust. The woman has been fucking absolutely shit on creatively. And you want me to sit there with nothing changed and now celebrate the fact that she's got the United States Championship again when you did nothing with that title on her the first time? Absolutely a waste of a match and a waste of a title change. This is the lesser of two evils here. The title on Julia is going to be dead. The title on Chelsea Green is dead, but at least the title on Chelsea Green would have been showcased on someone that the fans actually care about. I guess we'll wait and see if they fix the division around Julia. I'm not holding my breath. Maybe we get Jordynne Grace. Maybe we get Sol Ruca. Maybe we get Lola Vice. Maybe we get Nikita Lyons, who worked a fucking dark match last week on the main roster. Maybe. Again, I'm not holding my breath. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky spoke about becoming the women's tag team champions. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss walk into their promo, and they said that they were next in line if Rhea Ripley and Io Sky win on Monday. Well, I don't know if that's the case because Nia and Lash Legend already own a victory over Asuka and Kairi Sane. So you may be third in line. Bliss stated that she wanted to wish Io and Rhea best of luck on Monday. You know, I'm starting to lose interest in all this tag team turmoil very, very quickly. No, I'm the number one contender. No, you're the number one contender. No, we're the number one contender. Man, shut the fuck up. Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae were, I guess, attending to their wounds from the great match with Carmelo Hayes. Johnny thought he had a broken nose. Fraxium walk up to both Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano. Axiom said that he was going to talk to Nick Aldis to make a match between him and Gargano so that he may be able to get his mask back. Does anybody care about Axiom and his missing mask? I get that they want to tell some undercard stories, but maybe you should put a little bit more emphasis on those undercard stories because, quite honestly, I can't think of one fucking person outside that fat slob on Reddit who goes to Dunkin' Donuts every Monday and orders fucking a box of 24 all for himself. I can't think of that one guy on Reddit who maybe thought about Axiom's mask missing. Did you? Main event. Ambulance match. Aleister Black versus Damian Priest. These guys have been feuding for 6 months. Are you aware? 6 months they've been feuding. Over what? Does anybody in the chat have a great reason as to why Aleister Black and Damian Priest have been feuding for 6 months? You want to know what my reason is? Do you want to know what I came up with? Because neither guy had anything else to do on Friday night because the roster was so thin. I like an ambulance match. I like an ambulance match. We don't get enough of them. Actually, I'm glad we don't get a lot of them because that gimmick would be burnt out very, very quickly. Black made his entrance. Man, they're really trying to be Scarlet and Cross incarnate, huh? Priest comes out. They both got really cool entrances. They really built this up, like I said. One of the best things about tonight's show is the way that WWE built up this match all the way through the show. Weaved in some promos, history of the ambulance match, only 6 ever in WWE history, one of which they talked about being in the 3 Stages of Hell match between John Cena and Ryback. Ryback got a name drop on Friday Night SmackDown tonight. So match starts. Damian Priest is doing his entrance. He's still in his robe as he's on the second turnbuckle, kind of doing his entrance in the ring. Black attacks him immediately with his robe still on. Priest eventually battled back. He threw Black out of the ring as the action spilled to the outside. Black comes back with a boot to the face, and they make their way out to the stage area and by the ambulance almost immediately. The doors were opened while Black tried to put Priest inside the ambulance. Priest pulled out a stretcher from the ambulance and pushed it onto the ribs of Black. This was followed by a throw onto the base of the stretcher, and we go into a picture-in-picture break. We come back from the break, and Black and Priest are trading kicks to one another. So we saw footage, they showed us a replay, of Black sending Priest through the table with a Meteora on the outside. He had set up a table. He jumps off the apron and does a Meteora through the table and through Damian Priest. So back to live action here. Priest nailed Black with a lariat. Black was stunned in the corner. Priest barreled into him with a big-time splash. We're back on the outside. Priest sent Black over the commentary table with a big pounce, and Zelina looked on in shock. Black shoved Priest into the ring post as he grabbed the chair and starts hitting him in the spine with it. So Black then put Priest's face across the seated portion of the chair and kicked it. So he started using that as a weapon to weaken Damian Priest. So Black is teeing up for another chair shot to Priest. He was grabbed by the neck and chokeslam across the ring apron. We go back inside the ring. Priest kicked Black as he sat on the top rope. He had a massive hurricane rana off the top rope. Corey Graves sold the shit out of it because they were shocked that a guy the size of Damian Priest could do such a great-looking hurricane rana. Black responded with a spinning kick. He came back with the Black Mass, and both guys were down, and we go into another picture-in-picture of both guys on their back. We come back. Priest and Black are brawling it out by the stage. Black gets the best of Priest. He throws him into the LED screens. Black tells Zelina Vega to open the ambulance doors. As the ambulance doors swing open, Rhea Ripley is in the ambulance waiting for Zelina Vega, and she chased Zelina to the ring. Inside the ring, Rhea Ripley delivers one riptide, and that is all for Zelina. Goodbye. Back on stage, Black is beating up Priest with stomps. He tried to drag him into the ambulance. No luck. Some struggle. Black managed to put Priest in the ambulance, but could not get the doors closed as Damian Priest kicked the door open and shoved Aleister Black back as he rolled backwards. Priest has a crutch. He strikes Black across the back with the crutch. He drives the handle portion right into his chest. Priest then was pushed into the ambulance door, with Black following that up with a big knee to the face. So Priest managed to prevent any further offense here with a fire extinguisher shot to the face of Black. This was followed up by Priest throwing a fireball in Priest's face, or Black's face, rather. Priest threw the fireball in Black's face, which left Aleister Black rolling around in pain. Now, the last time these two wrestled, it was Aleister Black who threw the fireball at Damian Priest. This time it was Priest who got revenge on Black. He was rolling around on the ground, writhing in pain. Priest closed the ambulance doors and pulled out an equipment table from the stage as he grabbed Black, and he was looking to the razor's edge through this equipment table. Black escaped, hit Priest with another knee. He then attempted to throw Priest into the side of the ambulance, but found himself thrown in there instead. Priest was stunned by a knee from Black. This equipment case was pulled by Black, but Priest countered and hoisted him up for a razor's edge onto the windshield of an ambulance. So we had this production crate, this regular blue production crate that we usually see in the back. He was about to razor's edge him on there. He kicked it away, turns around, and delivers the razor's edge on top of the windshield of the ambulance, shattering the windshield glass. So Priest takes Black's body. He throws him on top of the ambulance. Now they're on the roof of the ambulance. And this huge black production table that was rolled out earlier is right there behind the ambulance. So now they're up there. Both men are on top. Priest held Black and threw him through the equipment table that was down below, and he goes crashing through this table down below, right in front of the doors of the ambulance. Black at this point is unable to fight. Priest jumps down. He dragged him to the ambulance doors. He tries to open them. They were locked. Apparently, he goes to the side of the ambulance, opens that door, tells someone to, I guess, unlock the door. I thought someone was going to pop out of here. I don't know what you guys thought. I thought someone was legitimately going to pop out of here, side with Black, and cause Black to win the match. So that did not happen. The doors were just locked. So I guess he went to the side of the ambulance, told someone to unlock the doors. They did. And apparently the doors open. He throws Priest. He throws Black into the back of the ambulance. And Damian Priest wins the match by slamming the doors on Aleister Black. And that ends mercifully their feud. Hopefully. This was a very good main event. I enjoyed what they did here. And like I said, I enjoyed that they weaved promos and a hype package and some stats and statistics about the history of the ambulance match throughout the show. Now, this feud had no heat coming into it. But I thought at the end of this match, I thought what they did was garner a little heat during the match. I thought by the end of the match, Damian Priest had everybody cheering for him. They got the proper amount of heat. Closing segments of the match, seeing Damian Priest heavily cheered against Aleister Black. I thought this was good. Finally, these two can move on to something else. They've been feuding for 6 fucking months. They've been feuding since June. And now it's hopefully over. They'll probably meet in the Royal Rumble. They'll probably have a little thing in the Rumble, and then they'll move on. Don't know whether the guy's doing a WrestleMania. I don't know what their plans are. I think Damian Priest, he needs something. He has not felt the same since leaving the Judgment Day. Since leaving Judgment Day, getting drafted to SmackDown, he has not felt the same. Aleister Black feels a little bit better than when he first got to WWE, when he returned. But even him, it's been a very uneventful year for both. I'm hoping 2026 is better for both, and it's going to be better that they don't have anything to do with each other. I thought SmackDown was very good. I think next week is going to be very good. They already set the show up for next week. 3 Stages of Hell is going to carry that show for at least an hour next week. So WWE's got a couple very good SmackDowns on the horizon to start 2026. I can only hope that WWE has something very, very big planned for Monday night. We got that CM Punk Braun Breaker match, and we got 3 women's matches on the show. So I don't know what they're planning on Monday night. Something needs to happen. That show on paper is not looking very good on Monday. Outside Braun Breaker and CM Punk. And then the women's tag team match should be fine, but that's 2 out of the 4 matches. We're going to need something more. Maybe Jericho shows up. Maybe Gable shows up. Did you see Gable on social media? Gable posted himself on Instagram, bro. He don't even look like the same human being. I mean, he's already... You look at Gable, you think they should be giving him both world championships the way he looks. Ridiculous. I'm hoping Monday Night Raw can match the sense of urgency that SmackDown gave us tonight. SmackDown started the year off right. Hopefully Raw can follow the same way. Thank you guys very much for joining me here on this Friday night. I don't like these 3-hour shows because that means I have to be here for an extra hour. I'm glad you guys stick with me. We had over 2,000 in here, close to 2,100 here tonight. Still not where we need to be for SmackDown numbers because people just don't trust the show. It's going to take a little bit to get that trust back in the fan base. Hey, we're doing some good stuff on Friday night. One show is not going to be enough. We need to see this show times 50. Got to rebuild that trust back. It's going to be a very hard battle for WWE to get those people back to watch Friday night because of the damage that they've done all through 2025. Follow me on social media, guys. You guys know what to do. At JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that thumbs up down below. We hit the goal of 750 likes. Let's try for 850. Can we guys hit 850? 850 likes is the goal. Super chats are open. Best way to support what I do here on Friday night, or any night, really. So let's start the year off right. First stream of the year. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Show your support via the super chats. Leave me a comment down below. All that stuff helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. And please hit that subscribe button. I'd love to start the climb to 180,000 subscribers. Start at the top here with the super chats. Michael Krause with a $2 super chat. Good Friday, JD OTS. How is everyone? Let's go. Yeah. Thank you, Michael. Boss Mo Jackson with a $1.99 and a $4.99. Trick Willie is on SmackDown. I love it. He's goated. I miss when SmackDown had screen effects and pyro in the entrances. I miss vignettes for new upcoming talent. There's a lot of things I miss these days. Yeah, what is old is new again. I think some of those old school ideologies still very much work in today's WWE. Ali with 41 months. JD, I would like to wish you a happy new year and also want to say that I enjoy watching your videos. You are truly the GOAT of the IWC. Thank you, Ali. I appreciate you being here, brother. 41 months is a long time. Thank you for being here, man. It's going to be a good 2026. Boss Mo Jackson with a 199. Priest Black feud, dead for months. Match wasn't needed. Oh, it was needed. It was needed. And Priest needed the win. If you had a gun to my head and I had to choose a winner, I'd probably go Damian Priest. And they got the winner right, in my opinion. Michelle with a 2. The 3 announced stages of hell seem underwhelming. I wonder if they mean old school blue steel cage. Do you guys think he meant the blue cage is returning? I hope so. I don't know what else he meant by that. Joseph Taylor with a $6 super chat. I'm happy Randy is back. SmackDown was a fun show. Carmelo and Johnny, along with Damien and Alistair, earlier matches of the night candidate. Three pages of horror with a new membership. Appreciate you, brother. Tony Brown with 43 months. Happy New Year, my IWC OTC. It's time to hit 200K in 26. You can do it. Your Vietnam vet, Tony Brown. Thank you, brother. Happy Tony Brown is with me for another year. We love Tony Brown. Jeffrey Mania 24 with a 10. That was an awesome show. I was there live with my girlfriend, and it was her first SmackDown. Good SmackDown. Cheers. You rock, man. Thank you, Jeffrey. Hopefully the lady had a good time. Not sure if she's a wrestling fan or not, or just going to support you because you love wrestling, and what you love, she is supposed to love. Because she loves you. Tribal Chief with a $2 super chat. Show was okay. Happy New Year, JD. OTS for life. Pow! Thank you, brother. Arcade the Hedgehog. Hey, JD, today is my birthday. Well, Arcade the Hedgehog, happy fucking birthday, brother. Let me see some birthday cake emojis from my guy at Arcade the Hedgehog. WrestleMess. 12 months. Happy New Year. Who are your picks for the Iron Man and Iron Woman of the Rumbles? What is your boldest WWE prediction for 26? Cody turns heel. Iron Woman, I'm going with Liv Morgan. Iron Man, I'm going Dragunov. Nicholas with an 18 months. I'm glad to be a member for 18 months. Cheers to another 18. Happy New Year, JD. Hope yours was good. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you very much. Antonio Rivera with a new membership. Thank you, Antonio. 009.5 with a super chat. God damn it. When I saw the show open with the fucking Miz, I went to sleep. I was not going to stay up for this shit. The Miz is as boring as watching the grass grow. Happy New Year, JD and OTS family. But brother, you missed a damn good show. You got to go back and rewatch it. Captain Solo with a $5 super chat. Matt Cardona is back in WWE, which is great, but honestly, do we trust Triple H to do right by him? They haven't even done right for LA Knight. I'm skeptical. You have every right to be skeptical. The creator was dog shit in 2025. They need to gain everyone's trust back. It's WrestleMania season. Last year's WrestleMania season was fucking terrible. They need to get a lot of these shows right. Tonight was a good one show. Then we'll follow Raw. They have the microscope on them. In my honest opinion, at least with us, I'm promising you that I have them on a very short leash. The one time they fuck up, they're getting it. There's no room for fucking up. These shows need to be fucking great. I'm tired of listening to this garbage, this mediocrity. It's WrestleMania Rumble season now coming up. They need to deliver big. Saritz with a super chat. Happy New Year, JD. Bro, hope 2026 will be the best year for OTS. Did you see Tony Khan tweet, "Thank you, Grok," in response to Grok editing a sicko's pick, choosing Tony over Triple H as Booker of the Year? I did. I did. It's quite pathetic, actually. It's quite pathetic. The guy just willingly seeks out any sort of validation because he's not getting it from people that matter. His show sucks. Even though I will say New Year's Smash was decent. It wasn't bad. I got questions. But 2025 was the worst year creatively for AEW. Don't let anyone else gaslight you into thinking otherwise. It was awful. Tanmay, 72 months for Tanmay. Oh my goodness. Jonesy, I see you, brother. Happy New Year to Jonesy. Tanmay, thank you, brother. Fast Eddie with a $4.99. JD, imagine Matt Cardona versus MJF. That's a WrestleMania main event. Two Long Island guys, huh? Now, MJF's going to Netflix. When he steps foot in the company, bro, he's going to Netflix. Feed me that MJF Punk feud. Give me MJF Cody. Bossmo Jackson with a $4.99. From day one, I've seen Booker T and Trick. His promo style, wrestling, everything about him. When Trick comes out, I'm glued to my TV. The guy is gold. Big Trick Williams fan here. El Garave, 007 with a $4.99. Hey, JD, hope you had a great holiday. For the women's side, I hope they call Sol Ruco, Lola Vice, and JC Jane to SmackDown. We'll see what happens on Tuesday with Kendall Gray. Will Kendall Gray win the NXT Women's Championship? I could see JC Jane and the rest of Toxic Attraction getting called up to the main Fatal Influence getting called up to the main roster. Lewis with a $2 super chat. I'm a little upset that Lola Vice didn't debut. Patience, Lewis. Patience. I know Lola's assets are very, very much wanted by everybody on Friday nights, but you gotta wait. Also, Melo's been killing it lately. He has. Melo's putting in that fucking work, man. Very, very happy for him. Very nice to see. Furious Nation with a $4.99. What's up, JD? Happy New Year, bro. SmackDown starting off right tonight. More of this, please. SmackDown looking stacked with Trick, Jordan, and Matt Cardona. I agree. Don Fanucci with a 41 months. Hey, JD, have you heard of this show on Netflix called House of Guinness? You might want to check it out. Cheers to you and the OTS family. I have not heard of this. House of Guinness. I wonder if it's about beer. It's got to be, right? King Don Dinero with a $4.99. Can you see a possible Sheamus and Cesaro situation with Priest and Black coming together as a team after their feud? You know, I haven't heard anybody talk about that. I could absolutely see that. I would not be opposed to that whatsoever. I think that would be a great idea. Otherwise, what do they do? Humble Lamb with a 5. I missed the gold and black NXT days and the AW pre-collision days. Too much wrestling these days. I agree. Nothing will ever top NXT black and gold. Nothing. MGM Ballin with a 4.99. Happy New Year, JD. I love MJF, but could you see him calling Bandito Banditti? Sure. It's MJF. Shnumtra with a super chat. SmackDown was great tonight. Raw, be better on my birthday. January 5, OTS for life. 8580 podcast with a $9.99. Never seen so many black wrestlers with so much talent debut all at once. It took years to put the WWE title on Lashley, Kofi, and Big E. How long do you think it would take to put the title on a new talent? Bro, they're babies. The talent is there. Right time, right place. I think you'll know. Fans have this intuition of knowing when it's time. Poindexter with 7 months. Crazy how next week, Raw, NXT, and SmackDown will all have their men's world championships on the line. Hope you have a great and fulfilling 26. OTS for life. Thank you, brother. I did notice that. I don't think any of them change. And Furious Nation with a $9.99. Looking forward to ACW Poughkeepsie Rumble tomorrow. Matt Cardona faces Mike Santana for the ACW title. Also, we'll be at Raw Live in Brooklyn Monday. You know, I hit ACW up to do some commentary work. They never got back to me. It's one of the promotions I love to do some work for. Definitely going to try and hit them up this year, man. I think they're putting on a great product. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for all your support. Great stream tonight. A little bit extended due to the 3-hour format now. But hopefully things get better on Friday night. Hopefully you guys enjoyed on Friday night. And hopefully we get some excitement on Friday night so that trust is rebuilt on Friday Night SmackDown. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications and go check out all the great content on the channel. We got more coming in the days to come. We're going to start January off right. And we did that tonight with the first 3-hour SmackDown of 2026. Until then, guys, I'll see you back live on Monday, January 5th, Netflix, Monday Night Raw, 1-year anniversary. I'll see you guys later.